Hi everybody, welcome to Live Blogger. In this tutorial series, we have been designing this web page using Tailwind CSS, and this is our progress as of now. We have designed the desktop version, and in the previous video I showed you how to make it responsive. So if I decrease the width of this browser window, this is how it will look on a mobile screen. Now in this video I'll show you how to add dark mode to this design. So let's get started. Right, here's our source code, and in Tailwind CSS you can add dark mode pretty easily. The only thing you need to do is add a dark prefix. So here for the container division, if I just type dark colon and just type some styles over here, so I'll just type BG, let's try red 500. Now this simply means that if the dark mode is enabled, then we need to set the background color to red. In fact, I'll just change this color to this BG slate 900. So I'll just type BG slate 900. Now this means that if the dark mode is enabled, then this color will be added as the background. And if the dark mode is not enabled, then BG teal 300 color will be added. So let's go back to our page. And now we can see we have the dark color displayed over here. Now that's because in my system I have selected the dark theme. So if I go to system preferences, we can see that auto is selected. So if I select dark, we can see we have this dark color displayed over here. And if I select light, we have the teal color displayed over here. So whenever the system theme is set to dark, we will have this slate 900 color. And if we set the system theme to light, we will have the teal 300 color. So that's basically how easy it is to add dark mode to your designs using Tailwind CSS. Now I will also show you how to add and remove the dark mode using a button on your web page. But for now, let's just add the classes to the dark version. So let's select the dark mode and let's go back to our index.html file. And the next thing we need to do is we need to change the color of the h1 to white. So here, let's type dark colon text white. Now if you go back to our design, here we can see we have this white text. Now we need to add the white text for this paragraph as well. So let's go back and let's go to the paragraph, and here let's type dark colon text white. Now the next thing we will do is for this button we will have a background color of teal 300, and we will set the text color to the dark color. So let's go back and let's go to the first button. So this is the first button. So let's type dark colon text slate 900 and dark colon BG teal 300. Now let's go back, and now we can see we have the correct colors for the buttons and all the elements. Now let's switch back to the light version. So this is how it looks on the light mode, and this is how it looks on a dark mode. Right, now the next thing we will do is we will add a button to switch to the dark and the light modes. So let's go back to our HTML and let's create a button for that. So here let's create a division, and in that we will have two divisions for the two icons. So let's create a division for the first icon. Now for the icons we will use a website called heroicons.com. So here I'm in heroicons.com. So let's search for the moon icon. And let's just select the solid one, and let's copy this SVG from here, and let's go back to our HTML and let's paste it inside the first division, and let's also get the other icon. So for that let's search for sun, and let's get this icon. So I'll just get the outline version of this, and let's click on copy SVG. Let's go back and let's create a division for that, and let's paste the SVG over here. Now for this division let's add a class of sun icon, and for the other division let's add a class of moon icon. And now if we go back to our design, here we can see we have these two icons displayed over here. Right, now we need to bring these icons to the top right over here, and let's also add some margin. So here let's type M of 8, and here we can see we have this margin. Now we need to have both these icons at the same position. So when we click on this moon icon, the sun icon should be displayed, and when we click on the sun icon, the moon icon should be displayed. So for that we have to set the container division to position relative. So here let's type relative, and for these two divisions let's add position of absolute. So here let's type absolute, and let's set the top position to 0 and the right position to 0, and we'll also set the cursor to pointer. And now let's go back, and here we can see we have this icon on the top right corner. We need to add the same styles for this icon as well. So I'll just copy these classes from here, and let's add it to the sun icon. And now if we go back to our design, here we can see both these icons are in the same place, but we don't have any margin over here. So let's go to the container division, and here we will just add a flex. And now we can see we have this margin top. Now the next thing we will do is we will set the opacity to 0 and the pointer events to none by default for both these icons. So let's type opacity 0 and pointer events none. And let's do the same for the other icons. So I'll just copy these classes, and let's paste it over here. Now what we will do is we will add a class called active to one of these divisions, and when we add the class of active, we will set the opacity to 1 and the pointer events to auto. So for that, let's go to the input.css file, and here let's create a class called active, and here I'll just set the opacity to 1 and the pointer events to auto. Right now let's go back to our HTML file, and by default we need to have this moon icon displayed over here. So let's also add a class of active over here, and now we can see that the moon icon is displayed over here. Now the next thing we need to do is when we click on this moon icon, we want to display the sun icon, and when we click on the sun icon, we want to display the moon icon. So let's go back to our source code, and let's create a JavaScript file. So in the public folder, let's create a new file, and let's give it a name of main.js. Right now let's link this main.js file into our HTML file. So let's scroll down, and just before the body ends, I'll just type script:/src and press tab, and here I'll just type main.js. Right now we need to reference these two divisions into our JavaScript. We need to reference this division with the class of moon icon and this division with the class of sun icon. So here let's type const moon icon equals document.querySelector moon icon, and let's type const sun icon equals document.querySelector sun icon. And now let's add an event listener to the moon icon. So let's type moon icon.add event listener, and we'll listen for the click event, and let's create an arrow function, and here let's type moon icon.classList.remove, and we need to remove the active class from the moon icon, and we need to add it to the sun icon. So let's type sun icon.classList.add active, and let's do the same for the sun icon. So I'll just copy this and paste it down here, and here instead of moon icon let's type sun icon, and here instead of sun icon I'll just type moon icon. Right now let's go back to our design, and now if we click on this moon icon, we have the sun icon displayed, and if I click on the sun icon, we have the moon icon displayed. So it is working all right. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to add and remove the dark mode to our design when we click on these buttons. Right now the dark and the light modes are set using the system preferences. Now we will change this to use this button right here. So let's change this back to auto, and let's go back to our project, and we need to go to the Tailwind config.js file, and here we need to add a line of code which is dark mode, and we need to set it to class. Now what happens is that it will look for a class called dark inside the HTML, and when we have the dark class inside a container division, it will add all the dark mode classes to the design. So here for the body, if I just type class and let's set it to dark, and if you go back to our design, we have the dark mode, and if I remove this class from here, and if you go back to our design, we have the light mode. Now we can simply go ahead and add and remove the dark class using JavaScript. So let's go to our main.js file, and here when we click on this moon icon, we need to add the dark mode. So here let's type document.body dot class list dot add, and here let's type dark. So this will add the dark class to the body. And let's copy this line of code from here and let's paste it down here. And here we need to remove the dark class, so let's type remove. And now let's go back to our design. And now if we click on this moon icon, we have the dark mode, and if I click on this sun icon, we have the light mode. So it is working alright. Now the last thing we need to do is we need to keep track of the theme when the page is reloaded. So for example, if I turn on the dark mode and if I refresh this page, we have the light mode displayed once again. So we have to keep track of the selected theme. For that we will use local storage in the browser. So let's go back to our JavaScript file, and whenever we add the dark mode, let's add it to the local storage. So let's type local storage dot set item, and here we need to add key and value pairs. So let's type theme for the key, and for the value let's type dark. And let's copy this line of code from here and let's paste it down here. And here instead of dark, let's set it to light. And now if we go back to our design, and if I click on the dark mode, and if I right click over here and go to inspect, and if I just select application, here we can see inside local storage we have this theme and the value is set to dark. And now if I change this to the light mode, and if I go back to the inspector, here we can see now the value is set to light. Now the last thing we need to do is we need to check whether the local storage value is dark or light. So here let's add an if condition, and let's type local storage dot get item, and let's type theme, and we need to see whether it is dark. So let's type equals dark, and if the value is dark, then we need to set the body class to dark. So let's type document dot body dot class list dot add dark. And we also need to add the active class to the sun icon and remove the active class from the moon icon. So let's copy these two lines of code and let's paste it down here. Right, now let's go back to our design, and now let's click on this moon icon, and we have the dark mode, and if we click on the sun icon, we have the light mode. Now let's go to the dark mode, and now if we refresh this page, we have the dark mode retained. So that's basically how the website can remember which of the themes was selected by the user. So if I select light mode, it will stay in the light mode, and if I select dark mode, it will stay in the dark mode. So that's basically how you can add dark mode to your design using Tailwind CSS. Alright, so that's it for this video. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the comments below. And if you like this video, please click on the like button and subscribe to this channel to get the latest video updates. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day.